I'm gonna give y'all a break from cussing y'all out and talking to y'all any kind of way about the tea. But real talk, get into this sea moss. Y'all know I've been on a health and wellness journey as of the last year and a half, 2 years, and sea moss is one of the things that I've added to my routine. You can drop it in your tea, you can eat it raw, you can drop it in your juice, but it is really good for your health, for your skin, for your overall well-being. Drop down in the description box. Click the link to purchase this product. Try it for yourself. I'm telling you, it really will change the way you look and feel. Now, there are just certain people on this planet that you can't stage no intervention for, especially in the form of an ambush. They should have knew good and goddamn well that that intervention with Heavenly was not going to go over well. That thing was an atomic bomb waiting to explode, and an explosion is exactly what we got. Want to talk about it? Here you go. Nessa girl, did you get into Sunday night's episode of Medicine Wise, baby? Baby, let me tell you something. Contessa is a very smart woman. She done went back to school 9 times and but she was not smart by thinking staging the intervention in her house. Of all places, was smart with Dr. Heavenly. And let me tell you something. Heavenly done got soft. Atlanta done groomed some of the Miami out of Heavenly. Because if I was Heavenly, I would have knocked over every goddamn thing in that damn theater room. Contessa's house would have been on fire after I got through knocking over all them damn candles. Baby, popcorn would have been popping all over the goddamn place. Rug would have been on fire. Them hoes would have been running out. You know they got all them chemicals and them damn bundles of weaves they be wearing. They ass would have had to stop, drop, and roll in her damn driveway after I finished with Heavenly ass. You can't do people like that. But do they have a point? You know, this thing is very, you know, this is a very unique conversation, and I'm going to take my time and we're going to have it nice and slow. But the episode opens up with Simone and Quad meeting out at a restaurant just to talk and catch up. And Simone says, you know what, I am surprised Quad is on time. And then they play this montage of Quad being late over the years. And I can tell y'all, as somebody who is a personal friend of hers, Quad has no concept of time. She legitimately has no concept of time. Quad don't have no problem being late. I, on the other hand, when I'm late, I get anxious and start sweating up under my arms and carrying on. I get musty and be musty before I've been on got to where the hell I'm going because I'm so flustered and worked up. Quad, on the other hand, might as well be on a damn Sea Escape cruise. She be cooler than a cucumber. An hour late, don't be feeling no ways tired or nothing. So it was glad to see, we were glad to see that Quad was on time. Contessa comes over to Toya's house. You know what? Bravo, y'all some shady bitches because whether it's a rental home or a home she purposed, why do y'all have to keep putting in the lower third Toya's rental home? And everybody else, you put Contessa's house, Dr. Jackie's house. Y'all don't put Dr. Heavenly's financed home. Y'all, whether it's a rental or not, it's Toya's house. Y'all Shady and Toya, you ought to cuss their ass out because they are undergirding everybody's energy to pick at you about your finances and y'all moving more than somebody who running from their drug dealer past. Okay, y'all, listen, Toya, you move like you on America's Most Wanted, baby. You just moving from place to place or whatever the case may be, and Bravo ain't making it no better because they are setting you up to be the butt of the jokes with those lower thirds. Anyway, Contessa goes over there and she says, you know, we need to stage an intervention with Heavenly. Now listen. Heavenly being my friend aside, okay, I agree if we are a friend group and we are all having issues or a particular issue with a particular friend, that we need to talk to this friend. But it's all about how you go about it. And as we can see, the way they went about it just wasn't the best or most effective method. Let's just leave it at that until we get to that part and we can deep dive a little deeper. So the ladies get to Contessa's house, and Anila comes in. She's a little apprehensive about leaving her phone. Quad ain't know what the hell was going on. Quad don't trust them bitches. And Quad was like, you bitches not finna get a hold of my phone, and now all my TV spread across this house and across these Bravo cameras. So I'm just gonna leave, because I don't trust. Let me tell you something. That shit is funny to me. Because one thing I know about that goddamn Quad, she is gonna protect her business, and she is gonna protect her tea. And I'm like, I think it was either Toya or Simone who was like, now I want to know what's in that bitch phone. Well, Quad has just let us know, baby, it's something in that phone that is definitely newsworthy. But you bitches will not find out. Not on today, baby. Put your mammy phone in that Halloween Kids bucket from the Dollar General. But you won't get my damn listen. And especially, listen, could you imagine getting dressed? Put your listen, whatever the hell is in Quad's phone, it overrode how upset she should have been about the potential of them wasting her time. She had done got dressed, put on her makeup, did her hair, came over there, and mama was content leaving because y'all was not about to get that phone. Now, when it comes to Jackie, it was troublesome to me that Toya did not see how problematic it was. This woman is a doctor. Her phone needs to be nearby her, or whatever the case may be. But they was going to make sure that Heavenly did not get the heads up about what she was walking into. Then Heavenly arrives. And see, this is where the shit got shady. Because it was a straight up ambush. Heavenly walked in, and the shit was just funny to me. Because she walks in, she's doing what you do when you get to somebody's house. You say hello to everybody. You exchange pleasantries. You know, you go through the whole, oh, you look nice. You know, I like your outfit. Yeah, girl, go ahead and fix me a drink. Or whatever. Ooh, girl, we finna watch a movie. We finna watch Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. We finna watch, family videos of Contessa. We finna watch, an advanced copy of Wakanda Forever, Black Panther. Or whatever. And then Quad was like, she might need a strong drink. So Quad poured her a lot of Crown in that cup or whatever. And then that shit goes 3, 2, 1, and it's like, bam, Heavenly's YouTube. And then Heavenly starts laughing. All right. So this is where my, behind the scenes knowledge is going to kick in for y'all. Heavenly didn't find it funny. All right. That was nervous laughter. Okay, that was nervous laughter. Like she had just been ambushed and she completely realized it in that moment. And so she's processing the ambush. The clips are rolling. And then she's processing, oh shit, I'm in some shit. If you notice, she didn't look around the room because you're scared to see people staring at you. It's like you were the center of attention. That was straight up nervous laughter. Not I'm laughing in you bitches' faces. Because the jig was up. She was busted. And the shit Was embarrassing. Now here's where my commentary gets nuanced. Here's where my commentary gets nuanced. After it's all said and done, Heavenly says to Contessa, so you really want to do this? You did this in front of everybody instead of just calling me, and you did this while the cameras are rolling. And then Contessa points to the screen and goes, but you don't call this everybody? You didn't do this in front of everybody? And on the surface, Contessa is 100% right. But you did your shit in front of everybody. But you want to have a personal conversation off camera about the shit that you've done. Make it make sense. Here's where it gets nuanced again. And here is Heavenly's thing. Heavenly's point when it comes to Contessa is, you've been seeing these YouTube videos. You have appeared on my YouTube post me making YouTube videos about you, your marriage, and everybody else on the show. And subsequent to these videos, we have still had a relationship. Moreover, you appeared on my YouTube. So now this is not new information. What I said to you is not new. You knew it and heard it prior to you coming on my YouTube, and we still were friends. So how all of a sudden today, why are you choosing today to be mad about this when we've had a friendship all while this has transpired? We've been still friends. It don't make it right, but I definitely understand what Heavenly's perspective is. Like, bitch, you been seeing this, and we've been being friends. So from her perspective, you being fake and you being phony, or you're doing this for a storyline, or what I suspect, because y'all women tend to be easily swayed by the person you getting dick from. I am of the thought process that perhaps Scott was able to get Contessa to see it another way. That Scott, in short, was able to turn Contessa. That is my thought process. It could also be that Contessa needed a storyline. It could also be at the time in which Heavenly was saying the shit, I was mad with Scott and I was on the verge of divorce, and it was the truth, and I didn't give a fuck about it because I didn't give a fuck about Scott at the time. But now that we're working on our marriage and we're in a good place, it's hitting different. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what Contessa's motives were or are for getting mad now. Although, let me say this. All things constant, she had a right to be upset from day one. All right? And I've said this to y'all, and I've said this to Heavenly. I am not a fan of Heavenly doing reviews of the shows talking about her friends. I told her, and I'm sharing this with y'all because I've shared this with Heavenly. I just don't understand how she reasonably expects to maintain a relationship with any of them, and she's critiquing them. I don't care if it's on the show. I don't care if you're just talking about what's on the show. Nobody wants to be in a friend group where they're being critiqued and their friend is sitting there giving honest commentary about their lives. Don't give me honest commentary. Shut up. Those conversations actually, to be quite honest, are reserved for behind the back. And that's how we commune as a society. All right? And y'all can sit here and call it fake and phony. And if any of y'all sit up here saying y'all don't talk about people behind their back, you're fucking lying. You're lying. You're lying. All right? Even in friend groups. And it's one thing to be discussing a friend. There's a difference between discussing a friend and talking about somebody and spreading malicious, nasty gossip and rumors. we all discuss our friends with other friends. We do. If you ain't never said, girl, you heard what's going on with Scott and Contessa? Yeah, girl, they say they getting divorced, girl. Child, I don't know, but I just think, I ain't never think Scott was... If you saying you ain't never did that and you don't do that, you're lying. We all do it. We all do it. So anyway, the video ends and Heavenly's on the defensive. You know what I'm saying? And she, at the point in which you made a montage of somebody saying stuff about you, it left Heavenly with no choice but to stand up and be like, yeah, I said it and I stand in it. I mean, you got to respect her for that, for standing in it, because y'all don't make me mad. Y'all don't ambush me. Now, I hope in this moment you wasn't expecting an apology, because y'all just jumped me. And that is what they did. They energetically jumped Heavenly in Contessa's garage. They pre-planned it. It was premeditated. Y'all conspired, came around, and y'all jumped me. Or whatever. So, I don't know what reaction Contessa was expecting of Heavenly. Like Quad said in that hallway after it all hit the fan, this was not effective. Now, I don't know. Maybe the right method would have been Toya, Contessa, and Simone, the three people having the biggest issue, taking her to dinner or lunch and straight up asking her, can you refrain from discussing me on your YouTube? And if you choose not to, Heavenly, then I am going to have to withdraw from this relationship. I'm on Iyanla Vanzant. If that show, Iyanla Vanzant Fix My Life, has not done anything for my life, it has taught me to open my mouth and set boundaries with people. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they should have set some boundaries. And if Heavenly could not respect those boundaries, then they just withdraw from the friendship, and that just be what it be. Do I feel like Heavenly deserved it? Absolutely. I got to be honest. She did. What they did to her in that garage, in that theater, right, wrong, or indifferent, she deserved it. You know what I'm saying? From their perspective, you sat around and you kikied about us and you got us or whatever, whether it's intentional, whether it's to inflict harm on us intentionally or whatever. You think it's funny commenting and laughing and shedding light on our shortcomings. So now we finna get you. Just like Quad said, this was not to get through to Heavenly. This was to get Heavenly. It was. And they got her ass and they got her good. They got her and they got her good. And trust and believe, Simone, Contessa, and Toya all felt vindicated. I'm sure Toya felt very vindicated in that moment. And as she should, because Heavenly wears her ass out. Listen, all is fair in love and war. And so, to the point in which Contessa made, hey, if it's fair enough for you to get on your shit and talk about us on the YouTube, then hell, it's fair and hurt our feelings, regardless of why our feelings are hurt, then it's fair of us to jump you. You know what I'm saying? It's messed up. It's messed up. I don't know. Like, I get that Dr. Heavenly loves doing her YouTube. She found it and it's fun. But again, like I said, she has a choice to make, whether to keep reviewing the show and reviewing her homegirls or her supposed to be homegirls, or to choose other commentary, other shows to talk about. And she made her choice. So it's up to the ladies at this point to make the choice that they deem best for their life, whether to continue a relationship with Heavenly or not. That's their choice. But, at least Heavenly is true to who she is, and she made a decision. Not the decision that I would have made if I honestly was trying to stay in relationship with a group of people. It's not the decision I would have made, but it's a decision she chose to make. And so the ladies now have to take that information and do with it what they see fit, because she's not stopping. She just isn't. She cussed out every ass what was in there. She was trying to hug Contessa. You know, Contessa found all this pain. You know, Heavenly ends up telling her, are you mad with me or are you mad with your husband? And it's like, you know, I definitely get that argument. Like, you know, from Heavenly's perspective, Contessa, I wouldn't have nothing to talk about if you was not putting it out there. If you was not putting it out there, and if you was not telling everybody, you know, your husband is such a bad person, and this, that, and the other, we would have nothing to talk about. Which she is right. But again, like I said earlier, and I'm going to continue to drive this point home, just as a friend, whether I put it out there or not, it still doesn't feel good with you telling the truth. You know, Heavenly says she's just telling the truth, and I'm just reviewing what's on the show, which she is, but it just still doesn't feel good coming from a friend. She called Simone a flip-flopper. You know what I'm saying? That comment comes from the space of Simone in the past was one of the main people that thought Toya was dumb. And when Simone was cool with Jackie and Heavenly and they was the three amigos, she had no interest in anything Toya. And then now all of a sudden, because she don't fell out with Heavenly and don't like Heavenly no more, you know what I'm saying? She needed some allyship in not liking Heavenly. So let me run over here and join up with Toya, even though intellectually I have no respect for Toya, and I really didn't have any respect for Toya all these seasons leading up to the recent seasons. That's why Heavenly was calling Simone a flip-flopper, for those of y'all who may not understand and need some clarity of it all. This just was a mess. It was a mess. It was poorly thought out. They had to predict this was going to happen. And I'm going to take it a step further and say, this is what they wanted to happen. Because they had to know Heavenly well enough to know that this was not going to go over well. Ambushing somebody. I mean, you don't jump somebody. It was 5-on-1. Or however it was 5-on-1. Or whatever. So, I get why Heavenly would be defensive in the situation. Whether she's right, wrong, or indifferent. I get it. Medicine Wives had it going on. They don't jump Dr. Heavenly. They got her ass, and they got her ass good. Y'all drop that in the comments and let's talk about it. Be sure if you're new to my channel to like and subscribe. And I will call y'all later. Bye. Nessa girl, so sorry to call you back real quick. I don't know, messed around and looked at my notes and realized I don't left out 3 parts, child. So first of all, I want to point out, I love that scene in the middle where Dr. Jackie was working with her client and she was talking about having the umbilical cord that was not directly in the center of the placenta. It was giving us this is why everybody goes to Dr. Jackie and why her appointment book is full, because they do a very, very, very good job of showing Dr. Jackie in a very good light and a knowledgeable light as a medical professional. The other thing I skipped all over, girl, I skipped over that heartwarming scene at Anila's house with Miss Gomez leaving, and the cute little boy said, "What about my pinto beans?" My heart just melted. You know, it was so loving, and it goes to illustrate the effects that nannies can have dealing with small children. And then when Anila's daughters started crying when Miss Gomez drove off, it just broke my poor little heart. And you know, they had to break it to the kids, and never is just such a strong word, and I'm never coming back. It was like, damn, I mean, could we have gotten at least, you know, I'll see you guys again later, I'll see you again one day. It was like, I'm gone and I'm never coming back. I mean, could we have gotten we can go visit her in Houston? Never was just so finite, but I guess in a situation like this, it's best to just create the emotional detachment. Let them rip the Band-Aid off, let them heal, and move forward without Miss Gomez, and just let her just be a thing of the past. And then Simone and Cecil sit down and have dinner with the devil. Okay? Omarosa makes an appearance on Medicine Wives, and Simone and Cecil are asking her about advice from writing a book. I guess it's smart if you've got a friend that's gone through the book writing process. The only difference is Omarosa had something that we actually wanted to hear and wanted to know about, and I'm just not convinced that there's a lot of demand in the relationship advice space. Don't get me wrong, I definitely think Cecil and Simone may have something of value to share with people, but I'm pretty willing to bet that whatever it is they have to offer in terms of relationship advice is not going to deviate or differ far much from whatever it is that's already on the market. I mean, all of the advice is communication. Keep it spicy in the bedroom. Take into account your spouse's needs. Listen to what your spouse is trying to tell you without being defensive. I mean, all of it at the end of the day is pretty generic when it comes to it, if you think about it. But hopefully, maybe there's a market of people who are specifically Simone and Cecil fans, and there's enough of them to purchase this book to make it worthwhile. But just as a standalone book, I just don't know how it's going to stick out from the 9 million other books in Barnes & Noble on the same subject matter. But that's what I called you back to say, that's the girl. Anyway, I'm going for real this time. Bye.